Hi everybody. Today I would like to do an installation of Ubuntu Linux on VirtualBox. This is one of the most popular distros that has been around for quite a few years, and currently the operating system that I drive my desktop or my desktop computer on. In fact, most of the servers that I end up building, I also use Ubuntu. So I've already downloaded the most recent ISO for Ubuntu, but let's just go and click on new. Well, let's go to the website first. Let's just go to website. Let's see. Let's go. There we go. We've gone to the Ubuntu website on Google. Well, let's search on Google first, and it's taking us to the desktop one. So it's 5.9 gigs for this download. Well, that's fine. I clicked on this, and I downloaded this before. So I'll just go to the folder where it is to show you. And here is the latest version. Well, that's the reason I've chosen 24.04 is because it's what they call the LTS, which is the long-term support. That is the VM, the ISO file that I'll be using to do the installation with. Right, so I'm going to click on new. I'm going to give it a name. Let's say Ubuntu. And I'm going to click on next. Yeah, 25 gigs is fine. Click on next, and let's just see how much memory did we assign to this. Not much. Let's up the memory a bit. I can do 6 gigs, and we'll do 2 CPUs. Should be fine. Next. 25 gigs is fine, and next. Right. So now we'll have to go on storage, and let me just bring this closer. Here we go. Click on empty, and then we'll click on the choose a disk file and click on Ubuntu. This is where it was downloaded to. Right. So now we'll click on OK, and we'll click on start. And in the next few seconds, you should have the Ubuntu installer showing on our screen. You can click, we can press enter there, and the installation will start. This usually takes a few seconds. I was hoping it would be quicker, but okay. Let's just move that there. Right. Keeps jumping to my other screen. I'm trying to prevent it from happening in the future, but in the meantime, this is the process. Okay, so at last the graphical interface started showing up on the Ubuntu ISO or VM that we just started. So we're going to do an installation. I'm just going to go and click on the start install button. This will take a few moments, and then we'll there we go. We'll select English. We'll leave everything as standard over here. I'm going to select South Africa. That's just for regional settings. We're going to be using the wired connection because I'm connected via VMware. The network via VMware. We'll click on next. Interactive installation. I generally do that. So the applications I'll leave with the default selection. I can always add additional things. This is a VM, so I don't need to install a Wi-Fi. If you're doing this installation on a laptop through an ISO that is you've written to a memory stick, you may have to do this and select the Wi-Fi. In a case like this, you may end up with having to connect if you can't get connected to the internet or your Wi-Fi doesn't work, then you may have to connect via Ethernet. Anyway, so I'm not going to do any additional formats right now because it'll increase the down the installation duration. Okay, we can erase the whole disk since it's a new disk, and we'll just give it a username, user1, and we're going to call this Ubuntu 1. Give it a password. Let's see if it'll tolerate my weak password. Please don't do weak passwords for your own use. That's particularly for systems that you've been running. Here we go. We can clearly picks up that I'm in South Africa. Next. Yes. Here we go. Here we can see all the commands that are being run in the background. You hide it, then this will give you a slideshow of all the features and things that you can see while you're doing the installation. Visual Studio was a very popular development IDE, they call it. So and then of course PyCharm is also very popular for doing code within Python. Yes, Blender, you may be aware of, is one of the top installers, or rather 3D rendering programs. Part of my of this installation, or rather of this video, is going to go through KDN Live. It forms part of my workflow. So yes. And of course, there's gaming. Steam is now available. OBS Studio is currently what I'm using to record this video. So yes, these things are all available on Ubuntu just by a simple installation. There are multiple ways of doing installations. One through the apt-get, we can do one of those. There's also the application store, which you'll find over here. And then there's a bunch of things like that improves your security. Yeah, WireGuard is very, very popular. And of course, Firefox is considered a secure browser. Let's see. There's no way for me to check how much longer it will take. So we'll pause the video here, and once we get to a close to completion stage, we'll resume the video. So now the installation is completed. Let's click on Restart Now. Okay, so the expectation is that it's going to tell us to remove the media by pressing Enter. Let's do that, and let's see it boot up. This shouldn't take too long. There we go. So once the installation, or once we've logged in, we can just log into that user. So with VirtualBox, we'll have to install the guest editions. So we'll just skip all of that, go through the process over here, and that will be that part. That's installed. So let's click on optical drive. The guest editions is the one we downloaded before. In one of my previous videos, I will add the link to where you can download this ISO file. Yes. And unlike some of the others, I may be able to... No, I will probably have to do exactly what I did in the previous video. Oh, here we go. There's an option to run the software. So run it. It's going to ask me for my sudo password, the user's password, and it's going to press Enter to close the window. Yes. And I believe the installation is complete. It will require a reboot. Let's reboot it. Sorry, that'll be on the top right here. Let's press on the restart button. Let's see. Hopefully that did the installation, and this should be giving us a full screen with all the drivers that we need to show Ubuntu in its full graphical with all the drivers pre-installed or completely installed. Let's just see. It's taking a little longer than expected. Did I type the password incorrectly? Just do this. It's not adapting quite yet. Okay, so let's try and install the VirtualBox guest editions. We can go here, it'll open the file. We can just open a terminal here. Now, I have found that sometimes these things won't run until you make it executable. So I'm going to copy the VBox Linux editions to the home folder for my user. So it's going to be cp VBox Linux editions, and I'm going to copy it to my home folder. Right, so now I'm going to go to my home folder. I'll do a ls there so I can see it, and I'm going to make it executable. Sudo chmod, and I suppose all I have to do is click on the +X and then the file here. Yes, and type in my sudo password, and then I will run it again. So with this command sudo vbox and run. Please install. It looks like there's a file or application missing, so let's do that. Sudo apt update. All right, sorry, that is not sudo, this is sudo. It will download the file, update the repository, and then it will do sudo apt install zip2, and there we go. It's installing it, and let's try and run the previous command. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. Now it's installing the guest editions. Yeah. So the previous attempts is there. The graphics is now adjusting because all is running properly. So I'm going to reboot this machine one more time. Sorry, that will require sudo to do that. Okay, so in the next few moments we should expect to see this VirtualBox with Ubuntu running and with its graphics in full screen, and other drivers like copy and paste from the desktop should also be possible. So let's log in. There we go. Guest editions are there. Let's minimize, and then we tend to find that then it will adjust. We maximize it now to the full screen. Let's just do that, and there we go. Now I'm going to do a little tip on what are the things that I like doing initially on Ubuntu. My favorite desktop, GNOME is not my favorite desktop, and generally people tend to use either GNOME as a default or they change some things on it, but I happen to like the GNOME session flashback. So I'm going to do this, su, right, type in the password, and I'm going to install apt install GNOME session flashback. And the reason I like this is because it gives me the comfort of having all my applications in a menu similar to KDE or the old GNOME interface, where we have categorized applications. I like having my categories for, say, for example, for my video and sound. There's a category for that, and so I'm going to log out here, log out of this, oopsie, and click on the log out, So now I'm going to log out of it. And when I log back in, I'm now going to select at the bottom right here, I'm going to say no flashback. And here I'm going to type my password in. And now my menu will look very different. You'll see I now have a applications button on top. And I've got accessories, which includes calculator and so on. It's got my graphical stuff. It's got my internet and my applications and so on and so forth. So if I wanted to install, let's go to the terminal one more time. And here I'm going to install apt install VLC. Let's type in the password. It will download VLC. Oh, wow. It's actually quite big, but okay. But the point of what I'm trying to make is that once it installs something and it knows the category it belongs in, it's going to create a menu item with that category in, and it will then put the application in there. So let's just give this a few seconds. As you can tell, it's finished downloading. It's just doing the unpacking. I'm surprised by the size of VLC. There we go. And now you'll see sound and video is there. If I wanted to install any of the other applications, if I wanted to install LibreOffice, for example, then we can go do that as well. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you very much.